And you are back with the New Music Alliance Radio Hour. And I'm Mark Sherry here with Mark Ramone and our special guest, Jennifer Dauphinais or Ponybird. And you just heard her song, Fire and Stars. Can you tell us a little bit about the genesis of this song? What motivated you for this song?
One motivator for the song was trying a different tuning. Songwriters have a lot of different tricks to kind of get into writing or out of a rut. And in this case, I was using DADGAD tuning and trying something different. Part of what I was working on when I wrote this was also poetic lyrics and really making sure that there were images that set a scene in the song. And I think that when I hear it, at least, and I've heard from a few other folks that they feel like they're in the room or in the vision of what the song is about. It's actually about being a younger person, teenager, and listening to The Doors, kind of exploring psychedelics or cannabis, or cannabis, if you will, which some listeners might be able to relate to. But how do you harness that memory, right, or that first time in a song? And interestingly enough, I was at a songwriting retreat, the Dar Williams songwriting retreat in Chester, Connecticut. And it happened to be Suzy Roach as one of the guests. And I was a huge Roaches fan, kind of intimidated and overwhelmed and excited to have her there with us. And she helped me with the lyrics. So I have to credit Suzy for really helping me crystallize the memory that is captured in the song.
That's cool. It makes sense to me now.
Yeah.
Definitely it's a powerful song. I really, really enjoyed it.
So Jennifer, and this is off the Fire and Stars album that you released in September, right?
Yes. So this is the title track. It had gone through a few different iterations and sort of writing processes. When it finally came out on the album in September, it's a pretty sparse version. There were times where I had played it with some other accompanying players, and it was just an upright bass and some brush snare. And I kind of wanted to capture that. I actually think I took the drums off in this version, tried to get it back down to the essence of the song, sort of just that songwriter feel of guitar and a voice with minimal instrumentation. So you'll hear that on the Fire and Stars album, a return to some of my earlier stuff, getting back to the folk roots Americana sound, along with some other produced tracks, but this one's probably my favorite on the album.
I love it when an artist kind of goes back and reinterprets their own music.
Absolutely.
And you performed this at an album release celebration back in October, a micro show event for only 20 people, correct?
Yes, and that was kind of what I was hinting at earlier when I mentioned that I'm seeing sort of this resurgence of new and creative artist spaces. It was actually hard to pick the songs that we're going to hear today because there's so many great folks making music. And in terms of venues, things come and go, but having a small space where you're guaranteed to kind of fill the room, a listening room, like a bookstore, a music store, so to speak, a library, can be really powerful too. And this was what I decided to do for my release party. Instead of going for the big numbers, I thought it might be nice to have a more intimate listening party and invite folks to come in and just play with a guitar. And also Liz Galorn played that show with me as well. And it was Liz and their guitar solo as well. And people really enjoyed it. They liked that kind of a format or that kind of, community and intimate listening vibe.
I love the intimate shows. Really special. So, what do we have coming up in our next block?
So the next block, we have Riley Cotton, a local Connecticut songwriter by way of Texas. And we're going to listen to Honey, which is an awesome song off of A House with Blue Siding, one of my favorite albums of theirs. And we'll also hear from Lexi Weege, Dancing on a Moonbeam. Really anything that Lexi Weege sings, I love. So it was hard to pick a favorite here, but by far one of my favorite vocalists in our region.
All right, so let's go to Lexi Weege with Dancing on a Moonbeam.